Welcome back, everyone. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at Pandas, which is an external library which is designed to assist with data mining. After we learn about Pandas, we are going to use it in several projects, several applications to do some data mining using Python and Pandas, so you can see how useful Python with its libraries can be. And then we'll learn additional skills. Let's go ahead and get started by creating a brand new Python 3 notebook. I'm going to call this one 022 Pandas. Excuse me. You can always go visit Pandas website and study more in depth. So Pandas is an external library for data mining. It can also be used for machine learning. In fact, it is used for machine learning. We can import it by saying import pandas, and if I want to alias it, I can alias it as PD, so I don't have to keep typing pandas again and again. Let's do Shift Enter here. We're going to start by looking at a pandas series. So I'm going to create S is equal to pd.series, and notice it's the capital S, and you can feed this a list if you want, and I'm going to do just that. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 49. I could put a list comprehension in there if I wanted to. And if I take a look at S, notice that it doesn't just return the values, it returns the indices also. And as before, the index starts at 0. Compare this with a typical list. So if I copy and paste this, and let's say M is equal to that, and then take a look at M, you notice it returns the actual list. So you see that there is a difference. I can take the series and call the values attribute, and it returns the value as an array, which has this one element, which is a list. I can also do slicing as we normally do, so I can do 1, 3, and it works exactly like a list. So it returned the first element, the second element, but not the third element. As before, if you take the difference between the end index and the beginning index, which in this case would be 2, you expect to get 2 results back. All right. Let's go ahead and create another series. For this one, I'm going to give it a list that has courses. So history, some of my favorite stuff, art, and some of my least favorite stuff, English, and let's say government. Let's take a look at N. Notice again, returns the indices as well as the values right here. And as before, I can do something like this, and it returns, in this case, history and art. We can also go ahead and take a series, and I'm going to take my series and copy it so I don't have to rewrite this. I'm going to create a series called courses is equal to this, but I can put a second parameter, which is the index that I want to be applied, and this is also a list by itself, and in this case I'm going to make it be M for math, H for history, A for art, E for English, and say G for government. Let's take a look at courses. And notice that instead of 0 through whatever 4, it gives us to us like this. I can do courses between H and let's say E. Now pay attention to this one because this is going to be counterintuitive. And notice that when you specify your own index, everything is included. It's no longer and not including the last index. So E for English was also returned. Understand that that's the way it's written. That's how Pandas is written. So if you specify your own index, it will return that. Okay, please don't forget that. Now I am going to take this again and copy and paste it. And instead of saying index is MH, etc., I'm going to make it be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to do courses 1 to 3. And again, notice that even though I specified my index, the last element is not included when you have an integer index. So if you specify your own index that is non-numerical, like we just saw, the last element is included. But if you go with the default index or include your own index, then it is not included. The last element is not included. Okay, let's create another series here. I'm going to create pd.series, and I'm going to put some values here: 99, 97, 96, 94, 89, and say 87. And for the second one, for the index, I'm going to put in some names. So I'm going to put in Python, C#, Java, PHP, various programming languages, C++, C, and let's say Ruby. Let's do Shift Enter. Let's take a look at POP to 2021. So this is representing, in this case, say languages and their popularities on this scale that I've put together right here. Very cool. You can do that. I apologize for this silly thing that popped up. I am going to copy and paste this, and I'm going to make this be 2022. And let's say that there are some changes. Maybe this is 96, this is 94, this is 89, 86, 77, and let's say 72. Okay, and what's the problem here? Oh, I'm missing the parentheses. When I copied it, it didn't copy it. Okay, so let's take a look at POP 2022. And we can see that this is giving us this particular one, which is pretty cool. So it's very easy to do, and I can go in here and look at something such as, let's say POP 2022 2 to 5, and let's see if that is correct. 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. So I can see that Java, this is 3, PHP and C++, 4 came back. If I were to do POP 2022, but instead of putting in numbers, include the indices. So 2 being Java, I want to go from Java to C++, as you might expect. All of them will show up, including C++ itself. So you can see that that still holds true. We want to take a look at now Pandas DataFrames. Now, depending on who you talk to, it's either 1 word or 2 word, it doesn't matter. I'm going to create something called 2 years, and I'm going to take my pd.dataframe, and this is how you spell it, capital D and a capital F. And I'm going to let this be a dictionary. And this dictionary is going to have 2 key values. I'm going to have the key of 2021 with a value of POP 2018, which is that entire series, not 2018, 2021, sorry. And also a key of 2022 with a value of POP 2022. So notice it's very cool. You can do that. And this is going to create what's called a data frame. And this is 2-dimensional. So if I take a look at 2 years, this is what we get. And you have to admit, this is pretty cool with minimal work on our part. We created this using Pandas. I challenge you to create this fairly quickly using built-in Python tools such as lists and dictionaries, etc., to create a tabular result like this. Now, what if I want to look up stuff? I can look up things. I can do an index lookup using numeric position with iloc. Let's take a look at that. So if I take 2 years and then called iloc, and this takes square brackets from 0 to 2, check it out. So I got Python and C#. Again, it gives you those 2 elements. This is by numerical lookup. I can also do lookup using actual index values with loc. Think of loc as location. So I'll take 2 years, call the loc method, and then go from, let's say, C# to Python. I apologize for that. I meant to say Python to C#. There we go. Okay, and I'm not sure why this did not show up right here. Okay, that's because I put a lowercase c. It is case sensitive, cares about that stuff. So you can see that it's very cool to do this, that we can do this. We can also do cool things such as take a look at first parameter is well, let me first talk about this. So we can also use ix, which is deprecated. I'm not sure if it still works, but let's go ahead and try it. So ix, the first row is the indexer, and the second one, the first is a row indexer, and the second one is a column indexer, the second parameter in it. Let me make a note here. First parameter is the row indexer, and second is the column indexer with ix. So if I take 2 years, that ix, I can put a colon, which means I want every row, and then I can put a comma and include the second one as, say, 2022. Okay, which is that right there. Let's check it out, see if it works. Okay, so it did not work. Apparently it's been deprecated, so sorry, can't make it work. I just had to try it because it was cool while it lasted. Let me put it to you that way. So since ix doesn't work, we're going to stick to what we do have, which is the loc, and we can do the same exact things. I can have it go through every row, which I represent by just having a colon and then putting in 2022, like that. If you take a look, I received everything for 2022, as you can see. So what I want you to pay attention to is the fact that this thing that I did returned a data frame. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this, paste it, and I'm going to take out the square brackets from 2022. The result is now not a data frame, but this one is now a series that we got back in this case. So pay attention to that if you want a data frame to be returned, you put the square brackets. If you don't, you can just get rid of the square bracket and get back a series in this case. So this was the introduction I wanted to have for Pandas. We will see a lot more features of Pandas, but I prefer to show you those as we do practical exercises. And we're going to start with those in the next video. Thank you for watching as always and being a great audience. Please share with friends and loved ones if you enjoyed these videos.